the upcoming military campaign of the armed forces of Ukraine is in the spotlight of all world media and governments. From how it will go, further political processes depend. And we are talking not only about Ukraine and Russia, but also the global level. At the same time, there is little public information at the moment, which is expected. But analyzing it all, experts speak of the coming months as a time of great opportunities for the armed forces of Ukraine. First of all, due to the depletion of the Russian army.
Although Russia has far more military hardware than Ukraine, its losses have also been surprisingly high. The destruction or capture of some 2,000 tanks may explain the turn to models dating back to the 1960s, T-62s, and even the 1940s, T-54s, as well as the recent decision to rely more on motorized rifle units. Ryan Mannon, professor at the New York University, in a column for Foreign Affairs.
While the Russian army is losing hundreds of soldiers every day in ineffective attacks on Ukrainian fortified positions, the Ukrainian servicemen are building up forces to strike, information about which is kept in the strictest confidence. But Kyiv and its Western allies speak openly about the trends. Thus, the US Secretary of Defense said that the upcoming campaign could be extremely successful for Ukraine and stressed that Washington would not deviate from the course it had chosen to support the armed forces of Ukraine.
We also remain committed to sustainment and to ensuring that your forces receive adequate spare parts and training for maintenance. So I'm confident that we will meet Ukraine's defense needs through this spring and beyond. And as the President has repeatedly made clear, we will stand by Ukraine for as long as it takes.
According to Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, a few days will pass between the decision to start the operation and its implementation. And according to the National Security and Defense Council Secretary Oleksiy Danilov, the command has several strategies for action.
Data on the conduct of a particular operation, the number of units which participates in it, and in what direction. This information is absolutely confidential. If anyone thinks they have this data, I can only congratulate them, but I do not know where they could get it from. If someone thinks that we have only one option, then this is not so. Even 3 options is not enough.
Details of the upcoming counteroffensive of the armed forces of Ukraine and Western military assistance necessary for success were also discussed by Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba and US Secretary of State Antony Blinken. According to the latter, Washington's support for Ukraine remains unwavering.
We are anonymizing our work with hardware.
Drone stealth is an important part of aerial reconnaissance work. In a matter of seconds, the defenders cloak the drone and the bird is released into the sky. In just a few minutes, the drone transmits data over a distance of up to 10 kilometers, showing the location of Russian equipment and the accumulation of enemy manpower. Now Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance is raising drones into the sky in any weather.
We need to focus, for example, on some definition of enemy manpower or firing positions in order to better adjust the fire. And of course, we need favorable weather conditions, but we work in extreme weather too. We even worked when it was snowing or raining. This doesn't matter for us.
Cloaking the drone in the sky, the Ukrainian defenders are also mindful of their own disguise on the ground, because the enemy often hunts for them and then attacks.
The drone cannot fly out of a trench or a bush. You still need to go out into the open space. And they also have observation posts. The enemy is also watching us, so this is a security measure. It merges with the grass, the bushes, the terrain, everything.
Servicemen say that the Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance is like a bone in the throat for the Russian army. Now predominantly Ukrainian drones fly in the sky, quickly transmitting data to artillery.
Our aerial reconnaissance shows greater efficiency than that of the enemy, and this makes it possible for our artillery to hit targets and have an idea where and how to shoot.
Now in the Bakhmut direction, the artillerymen are faced with the task of eliminating the manpower of the Russian invasion forces as much as possible, and despite the frequent shelling of their firing positions, Ukrainian soldiers repulse dozens of assaults in this direction every day. The defenders are also watching the sky above their positions, shooting down Russian drones.
Russian drones constantly fly above us, but we try to shoot them down with small arms. You can hear yourself, it happens all the time. There are Russian hits nearby, but everything is still fine.
Air reconnaissance work is needed not only by gunners. All filmed videos of the firing positions of the Russians can be used by other Ukrainian military in case of defense or counterattack. Active hostilities in the hotspots of the Donetsk region do not prevent Ukrainian defenders from honing their combat skills and mastering new equipment in a short time. Soldiers train daily at this training ground. John is from Canada. He has over 15 years of tank driving experience. Now he is getting acquainted with the infantry fighting vehicle BMP-2. What can it do?
Anything. It can go through the swamp, the asphalt. This is a good machine.
The main armament of the infantry fighting vehicle is an automatic 30mm cannon, which is located in a double-rotating turret. This combat vehicle is capable of destroying various targets from tanks to enemy combat helicopters. The Ukrainian military says the BMP is used to eliminate the enemy's manpower. For this, high explosive shells are used. Its firing range for ground targets is up to 4 kilometers. For air targets, it is up to 2.5 kilometers. At the same time, the infantry fighting vehicle is capable of not only attacking, but thanks to it, the Ukrainian soldiers can evacuate the wounded fellows.
This is its biggest advantage, that you can get through anything on it, crawl through anything, take out the wounded, and it helps a lot, because you can drive through a lot on these vehicles.
Ukrainian servicemen are trying to quickly master the work on new equipment. They say that the front line does not wait. Viktor was in Bakhmut a day ago. They held the defense of their positions for a month, together with his sworn brothers.
There was an assault recently, about 40 Russians against our 18 soldiers, and we dealt with them calmly. We even recaptured some of their positions. At first we were at our positions, but now we have advanced 100-200 meters to their positions.
So you were advancing, right?
Yes, of course.
Is there aerial reconnaissance working constantly?
Yeah, they start to storm somewhere at 3 o'clock in the morning and continue until 5 a.m. Yes, they work day and night, around the clock. The weather doesn't matter. It doesn't bother them at all. They are constantly carrying assaults, shelling our positions. They went out even today. Fired at us in pursuit right up to the very Chasiv Yar.
The situation in Bakhmut is difficult, the Ukrainian military says, but they want to return there and continue to defend the Ukrainian city.
Of course, why else would I come here? To fight only. I will not let the enemy come home. I want them to leave, so I can rest peacefully at home.
What is the mood of the soldiers according to the Bakhmut direction?
Wonderful.
According to the General Staff, Ukrainian military personnel stop the enemy more than 50 times a day, repelling assaults in 4 directions. Fighting for Ukrainian cities such as Bakhmut, Avdiivka and Marinka continues. War for the Black Sea domination. This is how foreign policy evaluates the true reasons for Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. On the one hand, Ukraine's interest is to fully realize its legitimate right to be a maritime state and play an important role in the region. On the other hand, Russia's maniacal desire to prevent this and dominate the Black and Azov seas.
Southern Ukraine along the Black Sea corridor was also the scene of some of the fiercest fighting and worst atrocities during World War II, and the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin forcibly deported the entire community of native Crimean Tatars to consolidate Moscow's control over Crimea and the Black Sea. In 2008, Russia launched an invasion of Georgia, another Western-oriented country on the Black Sea, marking Europe's first 21st century war, and foreshadowing how Putin's neo-imperialist ambitions would drive the future invasion of Ukraine. From a publication in Foreign Policy.
According to Foreign Policy, it is precisely the issue of control of the Black Sea that will be the key as a result. Peace and security in the region are possible only when
Liberating Crimea still could be a central goal in any coming Ukrainian offensive against battered Russian forces. From a publication in Foreign Policy.
The United States is also showing considerable interest in the Black Sea region. The US hopes that Romania, Bulgaria and Turkey, which are members of the NATO alliance, will be able to maintain a balance in the confrontation with Russia.
NATO has increased its military presence in the Black Sea region on land, at sea and in the air. We have made this part of a significant strengthening of our alliance since 2014, and we continue to evaluate and review activities as part of further refining our positions in this region, which is of great strategic importance to NATO. Jens Stoltenberg, Secretary-General of NATO, during a press conference in Riga.
According to the author of the Foreign Policy article, the confrontation between the interested countries for the Black Sea will only escalate, and an American drone downed by Russian fighters off the coast of the temporarily occupied Crimea is only the beginning of a likely escalation.